Uh, Hello, everybody. My name is Will Hanke. Thank you for hanging around for my session. Today, we're going to talk about lessons learned from hanging out with millionaires. As Glenda said, my name is Will Hanke, and we're going to talk more about these two businesses down here in just a minute. Millionaires sounds great, right? Everybody wants to be one. Everybody talks about being one. Everybody dreams about being one. There is some sort of romantic uh, phrases going through our head when we think about being a millionaire. And, it's a lot of people talk about it, not a lot of people actually get to it, right? Obviously, we know that. I want to tell you a real quick story about my two businesses, as I mentioned. Canoe Media started way back in 1997, and for 20 years I ran that business, and pretty much just kind of flatlined early on, and never really grew, never really increased. It always paid the bills. I was able to quit my government job and just do Red Canoe, and it was great. Like I said, it paid the bills. There was never very much growth. And in 2017, kind of got tired of it. And I was also watching Shark Tank. If anybody's familiar with Kevin O'Leary, it's not a business, it's a hobby. He says that a lot to people. And that hurt. That hurt because wait a minute, I'm 20 years into this thing. It's not a hobby for me anymore, right? But in reality, it kind of was, because there was no plan for growth. There was no plan for improvement. Les just talked about all this, right? There was no plan to continually improve and make it better. It just kind of flatlined. So what do? Well, we go out to Amazon and start looking for books on how do I just become a millionaire. It couldn't be that hard, right? And there's plenty of them out there, plenty of books out there, some good, some not so great, but lots and lots of ways to learn more about making money, right? That's what it's all about. Then you can go and look for blogs, right? Become a millionaire in the next 12 months. Oh man, this is exactly what I was hoping for. 12 months, that's awful long time, but if I can be a millionaire a year from now, that's great. How to become a millionaire in your 30s. Well, I done missed that one, but sounds great, right? Amber's still got plenty of time. If she reads this, she's got time to become a millionaire before she even hits 30, right? 9 industries that'll make you a millionaire. Oh, I better get into one of these 9, right? This Dan Locke, a lot of people know who that is. He's obviously got the goods. And then there's my favorite blog, 7 ways to get rich without leaving the couch. Yes, this is it. This is perfect. Just what I need, right? No matter how you look at it, there is a lure related to money, right? And having that focus, and lots of marketing people are focusing on there. A lot of people are saying this is it, right? This is the end game. Now, the other thing that happened in 2017, as I started to kind of wake up from my 20-year slumber, is I found something called the FIRE movement. And FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. It's all around starting to set your future up, right? And start to set yourself up for long-term success. There are some extravagant examples of this, of people doing, a lot of stuff in their 20s and retiring in their 30s. And that sounds fantastic, but I'm way past that, right? By 2017, I'm 24 years old at least, right? Somewhere around, no, not really. I'm early 40s, right? But there's still time, what I understand. One of the things in FIRE movement is what they call the 4% rule. And the way the 4% rule works is, if you want to retire, no matter what the age is, this is how much money you need to have invested so that you can just live off 4% of that money or draw that money out. Those numbers are fairly daunting, right? And very daunting for somebody in their mid 40s. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. How in the world am I going to accomplish this? Or I'm just going to work the rest of my life, right? Other thing that I did was started to look at some specific books, got some recommendations from some people, and these 2 books stick out. And my guess would be most of you have read these books or at least heard of these books. But Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T.R. Eker, and The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas Stanley. These two books really helped start to do something for me, and that's called Change My Mindset. If I could change my mindset, I could probably get different results, right? Negatively or positively, hopefully positively, but that was yet to be seen. Speaking of mindset, if you haven't seen my September last year presentation called Permission to Succeed, I go into a little bit more detail on the mindset piece of this. And it looks like I had a crazy looking beard at the time. So you'll also get to see that, which is fun. And of course, that's on our YouTube channel as well. But the one thing that I learned was you have to have an abundance mindset. And I think that's one big thing about E4E is there is an abundance mindset. Everybody understands that if we can teach people, what we're doing, what we know best, that it will help everyone. It will not just be a selfish kind of motive, right? And the last thing that I did was I remembered E4E's mantra of not flying alone. You have to find books, people, resources that can help you try not to do it yourself, right? It's not going to happen. So one of the first things that I did was I discovered something called the 7-figure agency. I'm an agency owner. I want to be 7 figures. So this makes sense. And this is a guy named Josh Nelson who has quite honestly changed my life. But 7-figure agency is just a group of people who help similar-minded people grow their business. Now, the first thing that I learned when I joined this group was not to try to do everything. As an agency owner, I would take a mattress company and I'd take a divorce lawyer and I'd take a window treatment company and I would take a printer, right? And try to learn all their industries and try to do all of their stuff for them and do it well. But what I found was that most millionaires have a niche. They do something very well, and that's the only thing that they do. And out of that was born a second company called Window Treatment Marketing Pros. I've talked about this in the past as well. I had a couple window treatment customers and awning customers. I did very well for them. And I took the 7-figure agency model and basically put my efforts into building a very niche agency versus what we call a generalist agency, being Red Canoe Media. The next thing I learned was millionaires want to see others succeed. This has always been kind of a struggle for me from a standpoint of, when you're growing up, you think of millionaires and you think of these guys that are just out there super greedy. That's typically not the case. They really want to see others succeed. For this particular group that I joined, their mission was to help 500 agencies scale to 7 figures. That's a pretty broad goal, a pretty big goal for them, but it's doable. Now, I use the same picture for a different thing that I learned about millionaires, and that's that they're not afraid to seek help. So you can see them on both sides of this picture, right? They're more than happy to help people. They're also not afraid to seek that help. And here's a text message I literally got yesterday from somebody in the group who's doing quite well, probably doing 7 figures. Hope all is well with you. Started doing a new thing. I need some help. And this is the kind of community that they've built around this. They're not afraid to find out who has the information and leverage that to their advantage, if you want to call it that. Another thing I've learned is that they're generous yet frugal. So this is the typical millionaire picture that we see in our mind when we think of somebody who is a millionaire, right? They got the supercars, they got the mansion, they've got all kinds of friends, right? They don't know what to do with all their time and all their money. But as I started to read, especially The Millionaire Mind, come to find out, if we talk just about supercars, the average millionaire drives a Ford F-150, Jeep Grand Cherokee, um, a Toyota Camry. You know, they're not these crazy cars that you see in your mind when you think of somebody who is doing quite well for themselves. They're very much more low key and average, if you will. Another thing that I've learned is that they have clear written goals. So one of the things that we do uh, very often is review our goals. We have 90-day goals, we have 1-year goals, 5-year goals, 10-year goals. And at the same time, there's a plan in place to achieve those, especially the 90-day goals, because we know that those are going to get towards the 1-year, the 5-year, the 10-year goals. So it's not just having a goal, it's writing down that goal, having it in front of you, and making sure that every week you're moving those rocks or smashing those rocks into smaller rocks, and having a plan to hit a specific goal, a specific time frame or milestone of some sort. The other thing that I should mention here, and I think Les might have mentioned this, is make sure that you celebrate when you do hit those goals. I set a goal to hit a certain number of clients last year, and if I achieved that goal, I was able to put a nice bike, purchase a nice bike. I like to ride bikes, and we achieved the goal. In fact, we achieved the goal 3 weeks late. So I was late on it, but I did achieve it, and I didn't go purchase the bike until I hit that goal. But just having that bike, and now every time I ride it, it reminds me of the fact that I achieved that goal and that I had a plan in place to get there. Another thing is millionaires accomplish things through people. Now, if anybody has ever talked about me or anything like that, you know that I have people to do things. When Bill Purnett, our E4E founder, says, you know, can you do this thing? I said, well, you know, I can get somebody to do it, right? It's very important that you have other people that can help you achieve your goals. And I heard a saying, and I should have put it on the presentation, but it was, I use all the brain power that I have and all that I can borrow, something like that. But very, very positive and impactful statement. 7-figure agency has, you know, obviously has built a team to help them achieve their goal. And another thing that they implemented was what they call their member mentor program. So these are other agency owners in the group that have succeeded, done very well for themselves. And now they are mentoring other agency owners in the group as well. And this guy at the end here is a chunky version of me. I don't know why they chose that picture, but they did. But I'm honored to be one of the 20 agency members that is a member mentor, helping out a lot of different agency owners and business owners with a ton of different things. It's super exciting to be in some sort of a community where everything is growing and everyone is moving in the same direction. And lastly, they understand time versus money. I'm not going to go into a ton of information on this because I think everybody understands that as long as you're swapping your time for money, you've got a limit, right? You can only get so far. Now you can help yourself by hiring people and 2xing, 5xing that, but there's still limits to it, right? You have to understand that that relationship, and you have to try to get out of that relationship, quite honestly. Time never returns. You can't get more. If you waste it, it's wasted. If you waste some money, that's okay. You can get more, right? There's still an opportunity for you to get it in increase. You can't earn time, but you can earn money. And of course, limited versus unlimited. But at the end of the day, what you really have to have is a different mindset on how you're going to grow your business. So let's talk about a couple lessons learned. First of all, focus. Make sure that there is one thing that you do and you do it very, very well. I mentioned earlier that I started that business, Window Treatment Marketing Pros, after 20 years of doing Red Canoe. And the window treatment marketing pros is doing more than double the revenue of Red Canoe in just 2.5 years. So focusing can really improve a couple things. For obviously improve your output because you're only working on one thing. But there's also the conversations that you start to have with people, and the people that you attract are going to be part of that specific focus. And I'll be on sales calls where I'll hear people say, we want to do business with you because this is the only industry you work with. That's pretty impactful, right? And it gives me a heck of an advantage over all these other generalist businesses that are out there saying, "Oh yeah, we can help you. Oh yeah, we can help that guy. We can help that guy." Maybe there's a possibility where we can't help you, and it's just as important to disqualify people that don't fit your key goal. Secondly, as I mentioned earlier, give yourself permission to succeed. Give yourself permission. It's very important that you do this in your mind. If you don't do this, you're not going to have the right mindset in order to push forward with everything else. Next, get a coach. Find a Facebook group. Find a team. Find somebody who's been there, done that, and is willing to teach or mentor you, take you on and show you exactly how to do it. Finding that coach is extremely important, and millionaires have coaches. No matter how much they're making, no matter what they're doing, they are still seeking advice from others that are smarter in different areas. And lastly, be consistent. Very important that once you set a goal and start on that goal, that you work all the way through to the end. Glenda knows from doing my disc profile that I'm not Mr. Super follow through. I'm quick start. Let's go get it. But it's very important to do that follow through piece and make sure you see those all the way to the end. And in some sort of way, the bicycle is a dangling carrot for me, right? It's a celebration of, okay, I did get through that process and was able to reward. So make sure that you are celebrating those wins. Last thing I'll say is this is available to anyone, no matter your age, no matter your ethnicity, no matter what. Anybody can achieve anything if you have the right pieces in place, you have the formula, and you make sure that you're not flying alone. There are a lot of people out there that will help you no matter what your industry is. There are groups out there to help you and see you succeed. So that's it. Thank you.